The sun is high, we're feeling good. In Miami where the spirit's understood. With Bobby Phins top leading the crew. We're gonna show you what these Dolphins do. Fins up high, the crowd's roaring loud. In the city with the blue and aqua proud. Fin stands us here with the play-by-play. We're getting ready, it's game day. Are you ready for some football? Miami Dolphins standing tall. Are you ready for some football? Showtime at the Hard Rock, y'all. From the tailgate to the field of green with the best fans you ever seen. Bobby's got the scoop, hot off the press. In Miami, we roar to impress. Play your stats and pregame chat.
Happy game day, Dolphins fans. It's week 18. We are here towards the end. Actually, it is the end for the Dolphins, the 2025-26 Miami Dolphins season. The Dolphins will wrap it up against the New England Patriots, traveling New England to, I guess, try to pull off an upset, if they could beat the Patriots. And hopefully, I think, are they still competing for the number 1 seed, the Patriots?
Yes,
So
that's why they play the same time the Broncos, yes.
So there you go. So the Dolphins have, the Patriots have something to play for. The Dolphins, not so much, especially with everybody going out. Of course, the youngest daughter just walked in. That's why we are live. Of course, not in here the whole time until we say go. And there she is walking in. Eliana,
sorry.
It's okay.
Audrey and Eliana.
That's okay. That's okay. But anyway, so
Name
happy.
my 3 kids.
No, I can't. I forget names. I'm terrible. I really am.
Tristan, Audrey, and Eliana. See? And Tati.
Yeah, I know. I'm horrible. I don't remember names. I really
And
don't.
Tammy from Miami. And Harrison.
That's so mean.
I do. Yeah, that's so rude.
Don't forget about Alex.
Can't do that. There's one guy at church. He knows my name. This older guy. I always help him with stuff. And he goes, Bobby. And you're like, hey, sir, how you doing? Tati goes, what's your name? I'm like, oh crap. I'm terrible at names. Tati says I have to say the name back. I really am bad, dude. It's like, it's horrible. So, just be good that I know your name. Anyway, back to the show. This is the last game of the season. But even though it's the end of the season, there's a lot to talk about because what could be coming with probably the most memorable offseason in a very long time for the Miami Dolphins. It's been, I don't know how long since we've actually searched for a new general manager, and not only searched for a new general manager, but player personnel, guys in charge of player personnel. Miami did not wait. They're doing something a little bit out of the box. They didn't wait till the end after the season to start maneuvering. They started right away with hiring Hall of Fame quarterback and broadcaster Troy Aikman as a consultant on the GM search. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on the conflicting reports on the head coach, Mike McDaniel. If you're every day, it seems like a new story comes out about what Miami's feeling, how they're doing. Ian Rappaport's reporting one thing. Adam Schefter the other day reports another thing. Today he reports something else. So there's a lot of noise going on, plus the game itself and what we got planned during the offseason for FTSN, Phins TV, and whatnot. We'll get into all of it. Before we do, let's congratulations to the University of Miami, the U. I taught my youngest, the U. Going to
Happy New Year. It's Happy U Year.
Happy U Year. Hey, let me tell you, that was amazing. That Texas A&M game. After that game, people could have said, "Oh, that was a lucky thing." You can't say that about this game against Ohio State. I mean, the way they played as well as like, man, I wish Miami would play. The Dolphins would play that type of football. Relentless defense, unbelievable running game, and Carson Beck, who is not the perfect quarterback. We know that. That dude played with so much heart. I mean, it was great to see. And let me tell you, man, I don't want to knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm feeling really Larry David, pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good, but Caneswear podcast. Shout out to Caneswear, who sponsors, of course, FTSN partners at FTSN.
Phenomenal show.
But anyway, they'll be covering that this week as well. But before we get into the game, before we get into all the news, let's welcome in Finn. Sammy, how are you, my brother?
Doing great. Coming back from Florida. It's cold in Florida. The times are 38 degrees, and for the Puerto Rican guy, it was like, yeah, I could not get back to get home. A little bit of still nasal about it, but feeling good. Great to be here. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you.
We missed you last week, man. Happy New Year, brother.
Yeah.
We're happy. I'm happy that I know Evan is, but I'm happy that you had a great time. You look like you did, and that mattered.
Yeah, it was awesome. Listening to so many people was awesome.
Evan, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right. I'm pretty sad that that's the last pregame show intro we're going to have for a while till September, because obviously we're not making the playoffs. Obviously, hopefully the intro will look a little bit different next season with a lot of different graphics will be changed because some of those players will likely not be on the team, and hopefully the guy making the play calls won't be there, except for there are beautiful faces, and we'll incorporate Sammy into it. And I did say, Sammy, I will say this at the beginning of the show. You made a prediction throughout the season that he would make it through the whole season. And once again, Sammy was right. So,
and it wasn't popular. I'm thinking at the time. Yeah, right now, the last 5 weeks, yeah, maybe. But the first 5 weeks, people said it was out. But we're going to talk a little bit about it probably later. So,
yeah.
Yes.
No, but I'm doing okay. It's sad it's the last game of the season, but at the same time, we love our football team. And if it wasn't for, like I say, every time I come on here, if it wasn't for this network and the other networks that we support, last week when you couldn't be there, Sammy, I was there with George and Sarni. That was quite a show. Hey, Sammy, I didn't have to get the story direct anymore, even though I had quite a few DMs with the gentleman. I got to hear the whole story live, buddy. I got to hear the whole story live.
Yeah, that was pretty controversial, but I told you once. One day you're gonna hear him from his mouth. So I'm glad you did that. So
by the way, it was kind of ironic.
You had a chance to clear the air. I'm very happy for him.
It's kind of ironic when you covered your camera a couple of weeks ago when I was knocking that particular network, and then you were like, "Oh boy!" and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, no screenshots. No screenshots.
And I do have a statement, but I will save that statement to when Bobby would like me to read it. It's an important statement that I'd like to share with the fans and the people on the network, but I'll share it for when Bobby wants me to share it.
I like it. I like that. That suspense. I like that.
Yeah. So, well, first things first. Troy Aikman. Miami made some news this past week that is ESPN broadcaster or is it Fox? I think it's ESPN. Troy Aikman.
ESPN, Monday Night Football, ESPN, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
ESPN broadcaster, Hall of Fame quarterback.
20 years. Fox with Fox too.
Troy Aikman. Yeah, I know he was on Fox. See, so I was good. Troy Aikman hired as a consultant on the general manager search, and he's been that. How long has he been a consultant for? Evan, you said
since Halloween.
Halloween. So he's been hired by Stephen Ross and doing homework for Stephen Ross since Halloween. And he's actually broadcasted 4 Dolphin games during that time, which everybody wants to bring up what he was saying about Mike McDaniel. Even though he has no real say on the head coaching position, he does have on the GM search. We're going to get into that. I don't think I've really heard. I know I've talked to you guys on different times, but we haven't heard on air how we feel about this hire, what it means for the Miami Dolphins. Was it a smart move for Stephen Ross to go get someone like a Troy Aikman, who has no management experience, but obviously Hall of Fame quarterback, but also a broadcaster for how many plus years of relationships around the league. So I'd love to get your guys' perspective. Sammy, I'm going to start with you, my man. When you were traveling and you were just getting relaxed and all of a sudden you turn on Twitter and you see Troy Aikman hired by the Miami Dolphins as a consultant for the GM search, your initial reaction was?
It's actually a funny story, right? I'm supposed to meet with my co-host from Phins TV Plus, Eddie Chapman, that night, right? And he says, man, I'm feeling kind of in the weather. I don't think we're going to be able to make it. And I'm like, that sucks, man, whatever. But I did other things, right? And I don't look at my phone. I get a message from her. She says, well, now that the Aikman thing is there, I'm cheered up. I'm feeling better. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? So that's how I found out. I had to go to my ex and check. So when I check, I'm like, for me, it kind of makes sense because I know he's going to get knocked out because he's never been a front office kind of guy, right? But he always had aspirations. We know he has aspirations to be a general manager himself one day after the broadcast career is over. So for Stephen Ross to go outside the box, which is what we already wanted. We wanted So he wanted to. We were afraid or worried about the people he has surrounded himself with, that they were not making the right decisions. The fact that he went outside the box, outside the organization, to look for someone who basically had contacts in the media, probably gets good contacts to find around who's a hot candidate or not. Other than hiring probably a consulting group, I think it's a great hire. I like the idea that Troy Aikman's someone who basically had a lot of contacts probably in media, in the NFL, a Hall of Famer, someone's outside the organization. I think it's a good hire. I see people who say, but why did you didn't include Marino? Marino knew the guy was there since all this month. So and Marino, to be honest, I love Dan, but he had his chance to be the president of football operations, and he declined when he had a chance. So both are consultants. All they're gonna do is basically, guide the GM search. We're gonna probably talk about how that affects Mike McDaniel later. But for now, the hire, I really like it. As long as he doesn't pull a Dick Cheney, you know what Dick Cheney is. Dick Cheney was hired by George W. Bush to find a vice president candidate, and then he appointed himself. Said, "No, you're not going to find someone better than me. I'm going to be the vice president." That's how Dick Cheney became the vice president. So as long as Tom Heyman doesn't put a Dick Cheney, I'm happy about it.
There you go. Evan, I know you've been touching base with some Dolphin fans on Twitter, off Twitter. So first I want to get your initial reaction from what it is. I want you to tell me what you think now, but what was your initial reaction, and then what you think now, and then what are you hearing from some of your Dolphin fan friends?
So when I first saw it, I thought it was such a smart move by the Dolphins to do it on one of the slowest moving days, on New Year's Day. So that's why it actually got a lot of credence. Like if they known about this since Halloween, the fact that they announced it on New Year's Day was I think that was very well planned by the Miami Dolphins PR committee. Yes. When my first reaction it was for me a positive. Why do I think it's a positive? Because it's not someone within the organization. They're not just going to go and take whoever's within the organization, Brandon Shore, Stephen Ross, Tom Garfinkel, Dan Marino, and they're not. I don't like the fact that they might have hired somebody who potentially does not have a job right now, meaning that somebody who is not making millions of dollars a year in broadcasting or involving themselves in other areas of the sport. So when I first saw it, I like the fact that he's a winner. I like the fact that he has criticized the Miami Dolphins. I like the fact that he brings a fresh perspective. I don't care if he doesn't have management experience. A lot of people don't have management experience. When they brought in Bob Myers to hire Peters and Dan Quinn, no one judged that. Everyone thought it was an ingenious idea. Any fresh perspective with somebody who sits in all of these rooms. If they would have announced that they brought in Rich Eisen, I would have been okay with it. If they would have brought in Mike Florio, I wouldn't have. People who are involved in the league, I'm okay with. The same way years ago, the NFL has changed in such a way where there's no more collusion. They're allowing the richest broadcaster in sports to own a football team. So if they're allowing Tom Brady to do that, Troy Aikman can do this too. So I have no qualms about it. I think the issue I'm taking with people is everyone has their own way to fan, but a lot of people right away when they saw it, the people who are part of this network who are going to be on later today with the All-Star panel, what has he done? Why? I go, it doesn't matter what he's done. It's the fact that they are willing to try something else. Like it doesn't matter what they're doing. Like they're not just taking the same old status quo. We have Dan Marino. What has Dan Marino done for this franchise? Since he had the option in 2004 to be involved with the team, he didn't want it. It lasted 2 weeks. And then for the last 4 years, he's the senior advisor to Tom Garfinkel. And every time the Dolphins have crapped, he's done nothing. And this year, in the quarterback room, he used to sit in team meetings. He's a ghost. So Dan Marino, he doesn't have the credence for me anymore that Michael Irvin has more interest in the Miami Hurricanes than Dan Marino has in the Dolphins. Okay? He's just a figurehead there. He's just there to kiss babies. And shake hands and sell isotoner gloves. Like that, for me, Dan Marino is not involved in football the way Troy Aikman is. Troy Aikman is sitting in production meetings, talking to teams, involving himself. There's respect around the league for what he's doing. And however, like I said, for me, I'm less concerned about Troy Aikman's decision-making. I'm more worried about the decision-making on who they might choose as general manager. Because if they're sitting in a room and Troy Aikman gives his perspective, but then Tom Garfinkel Stephen Ross then says, well, they're interviewing a guy, and then the one guy who says, well, I like Mike McDaniel. So, and then Daniel Silman and Tom Garfinkel agree, and they outvote whatever he is. That's a waste of money to me. There needs to be a fresh perspective coming from the general manager. And the one thing I like about the fact that they've announced this is the one thing they keep on repeating, which if they don't do, I think this will force the team to turn. If they do not hire somebody with a scouting background, a talent evaluation background, who's been a director of player personnel, who's moved around teams for years, people are now watching. That's the difference for me. With a head coach the last time, because of the how Flores ended, I think we were just happy that we got a coach, breath of fresh air, and we all got a little bit whatever because we just wanted something fresh. And we were frustrated with Greer, and we were in that area where we were still in the rebuild. Now we know what mistakes we've made. We really learned our lesson. And now the fans can't be lied to anymore. The fans cannot be lied to anymore. We're not going to stand for it anymore. So we're watching this with that also. When we hired Mike McDaniel, people did have some criticisms of Greer and what the Dolphins were doing, but not as much as this. The Dolphins now are being analyzed with a fine-tooth comb since they fired Greer and they've gone through this actual thing. So to have Troy Aikman there, the way he ripped Mike McDaniel, the way he ripped Tua, the way he ripped the hurry up, this is a guy who's not going to BS you. He's not coming in as a consultant just to collect his money. He can go other places to make his money. The guy's rich enough. So for me, I'm not telling anybody how to fan, but for me, anything that is not anyone who doesn't have if they would have hired Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor, I would have been more bothered by that than hiring Troy Aikman. I think it's an excellent decision and at least a little bit of a breath of fresh air. That's what I think. I felt it was a breath of fresh air. It made my New Year's Day even more enjoyable.
So I'm going to say this. When I initially saw my immediate reaction when I saw that Troy Aikman was hired as a consultant, I was intrigued. I was very intrigued. And I don't know. I see a lot. I've seen a lot of people who see the positive of it, and I see people complaining a negative about it. I think it's great. I'm actually happy that he is going outside of his inner circle to get an outside voice. I've seen our good friend JB, the Back It Up Bench podcast. He's like, what has he done? How many GMs has he coached for or he's played for? I've seen, I see Raphael in the comments there talking about what success he's had or whatever. Here's what I think. Here so far is the consultants, the hiring committee who are going to be in the interview process for general manager for the Miami Dolphins. Ross's son-in-law, Garfunkel, Marino, and Brandon Shore. Imagine if those were the only guys doing the interview process. How confident would you be, Miami Dolphin fans, if those were the guys interviewing, picking up your next general manager for the Miami Dolphins? The guys that have all been there, minus the son-in-law. I'll give the son-in-law a little bit of a pass, okay? But Garfunkel, Marino, Shore, and Ross, guys who've been there for how many years in that front office, everything else, how confident would you be? Now, you got Troy. Now you got son-in-law who's in there, right? He has a different voice. You add in Troy Aikman. Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. That doesn't qualify him to be a consultant, just like it wouldn't qualify Marino as a consultant for a general manager job. But I'll tell you what qualifies Aikman over Marino for a consultant for general manager job. He's been a broadcaster for how many years? A very important broadcaster who's been involved in many teams, interviewing coaches and general managers and watching other teams be successful. He's not going to hire the next general manager. He's a consultant. When Garfinkel, Marino, and Shore, plus son-in-law, who probably doesn't want to upset his father-in-law, Aikman's going to be the guy when everyone else is telling Ross the same old thing. Hey, man, I like this. Hey, I like that. Hey, whatever you say, Ross. Hey, man, you're the boss, bro. You're the boss. I got to be here after this. I've still work for you after this is over. Aikman doesn't. Aikman is short term. Aikman doesn't give a damn. What everyone else tells Ross the same old thing that he's been hearing for 20, 30 plus years or 20 years, whatever, how long, I don't know. Aikman's going to be the one going, hey, no, that's not the guy, bro. I'm going to tell you. This guy over here is the one you're looking at, or these are the three guys I think, look how they say this, blah, blah, blah. It's great. It's a short-term hire consultant, a guy who's been around the league. He's an outside voice. He's not the one this is what people, oh my God, it's the same old. They're acting like he's going to be here forever. He's a consultant. Take it for what it is. There's so many people that I think that just love to bitch and moan. They do it to do it. Everything the Dolphins do suck. Every little thing. They hired a new janitor. That janitor sucks. What? They bring in an outside voice. Look, we don't want Champ Kelly. Why don't you want Champ Kelly? I don't want somebody associated with the Miami Dolphins. He's been here since March. I don't care, bro. That's too much. But we're going to be pissed. We brought in Troy Aikman from the outside to be a consultant for a month or whatever, how long it takes us to hire a general manager.
Absurd. This is absurd.
Like, I think I actually like the move. I like that there's an outside voice. Throw another name out there. Who would be that guy that you guys would love to see as a consultant shirt term? He's not the GM. He's not the general manager, the vice president of football operations. This is an outside voice who has relationships all over the league, who's not hindered by being a full-time deal, dollar check by Stephen Ross. He fired Chris Greer. He fired the two heads of player personnel, and now he hired an outside voice to be a consultant to hire the GM. Talk all the crap you want about Stephen Ross, but I'll tell you what. Obviously, we have a different voice on McDaniel, but what he's done so far with the front office and just GM search, I'm more than satisfied so far. Now he just has to hire the right guy. But I guess I feel a lot better about hiring the right guy or someone outside the normal perspective because Aikman's involved. He's outside the organization. I want somebody outside the organization. You got one. Go to your medicine cabinet, open it up, get that pill bottle that says chill, and take the chill pill, bro. Sit back, relax, and let it go. Can't have it all. Anyway, somebody said Tom Brady in there.
As long as the first question out of the mouth, as long as the first question from Troy Aikman or somebody in that room is, "What will you do? What would you do with Tua?" And they say, and if in the moment, if one of them says, "We're keeping him," out of my office.
Look what the Raiders are doing for a second, because DSG put there in there. Tom Brady to steal before Aikman.
No, Bill Polian.
Hold on.
Bill Polian's 100 years old.
Yeah, hold on. Tom Brady, Hall of Fame quarterback, broadcaster, and then he became a minority owner, even though he's acting as the majority owner in Vegas. Here's the rumor mill. He is eyeing former Giants head coach Brian Daboll as the top option as offensive coordinator for the Raiders, with being interested in defensive coordinator for the Vikings, Brian Flores, as head coach. Here's a guy who doesn't have management experience. Here's a guy who's just a Hall of Fame quarterback and a broadcaster who acts as a part-time minority owner, making the thing. If I'm the Raiders fans, I'm going, damn, that doesn't look too damn bad. Let's just wait and see. And another news, though, with the Troy Aikman hire that came out was that the Dolphins are looking in a general manager. They want a general manager with a strong scouting background. Josh, I get it. Bill Polian as a consultant is different as GM. Wouldn't hate it. But Bill Polian, how active is he within the league, going around the league, interviewing general managers or coaches and having that, and watching on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, every team, seeing the Eagles, seeing the Cowboys, seeing the every other team in the league. That's the only difference I'd have with Bill Polian coming in as a consultant, so.
Can I just add one key point? An important point. The whole Marino thing. Marino could have said, if he was so involved with the team and willing to ruffle feathers, the issue with the quarterback would have been brought up by him. Troy Aikman has been going out as being impartial and going after McDaniel, has been critical of Tua and all that. To get a fresh perspective of somebody who's been a quarterback with 3 Super Bowl rings, who doesn't associate himself with the team, whose only gain is to give you feedback, is a breath of fresh air. Like you just said, Mr. Negativity, this season on a lot of things with the Dolphins, I now, honestly, people who are so negative are going to flip me back, because I can't get the fact that you fire player personnel, like you just said, you fire the players of personnel, get rid of Greer. Yes, there's an issue still with the head coach like you brought up, but the fact of the matter is that you're bringing somebody who has no ties to the organization. You actually took it and go, I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to go look at to get this guy's perspective. What more do you want? Do you want yes men? That's been the problem. That's also been the problem. The problem with our team is that we hire yes men. Troy Aikman last night in the game. I remember someone was messaging me. He was being sarcastic about what he was calling on the defense. You put Marino in that booth, Marino ain't going to know what to say. The guy can name you. If you say to Troy Aikman, tell me about that quarterback and his development. You name every single quarterback in the league, he'll tell you about it. The head coach's nuances and tendencies. He is analyzing every aspect of the game all week. The same way that a player prepares and a coach prepares for a game, he prepares for his game like he knows it backwards. You have an analytical mind there. It's not like he's been away from the game. He's involved in the game. It's a fine night. They actually have to analyze so much as a coach in that game. He knows the nuances of what's happening and how to develop a team. He's also going to give feedback on not just a general manager, because when general managers, let's say they're asking questions, he'll be able to ask questions actually of all the people in the room, from Shore to Garfinkel to Marino, of all the people who can ask general manager type questions on what you see as a development of a player. The best person in that committee is Troy Aikman.
So I want to say what
whoever doesn't like it.
Hold on, with Josh Wingate.
We'll
Shout out to Josh Wingate. Will be live tomorrow night, the first episode of the Dolphins draft show here on FTSN on the clock. Very excited for that to get our first show going, our first episode started. Josh says Troy also did his diligence on what a GM should be, basically because he wants to be a GM, He met with multiple highly respected GMs to see what it would take to be successful. Like Stanza says, he is more involved in the NFL than most as well. I think he should be treated as he knows all, but his opinion should be respected in the room. Absolutely. I think people are trying to be realistic as to Aikman's real ability to do anything significant. But my problem is what evidence or what just like, you go, okay, we're giving you why it was a smart move outside the organization, respected around the league, actually active around the league. What evidence is it that he was not a smart hire as a consultant? As a consultant, not the GM, not the VP. So I don't know what being realistic is to what ability to do anything significant. He's not supposed to do anything significant. He is a consultant. Go ahead, Sammy.
For me, it's frustrating because the same people who are probably mad at the Dolphins bringing Aikman as a consultant are probably the same people who want Louis Riddick being in the booth and in ESPN doing stuff for like last 10 years and doesn't have experience running an organization for the last 10 years. It's crazy. We need to stop. We're not gonna all agree with the same thing who we want. That's gonna happen.
But
but again, we start bashing just someone to being a consultant. Again, love Dan Marino, but if Dan Marino had a voice in there, he could have stopped the Dolphins with that in Tua, because he was there. Did he say something? Did he try to say he's not the guy? So he's there as a consultant. Dan Marino is another voice. He's just a voice, and you can same as Troy Aikman. They're just there to give an opinion. And I'll tell you what. Right now, I trust more Troy Aikman's ability to be in every single stadium doing interviews the week before the game. I'm more attuned with the things of the NFL behind the scenes, what the teams are running, what are not, what is hot, what is trending. That is the other thing. So for me,
always.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I do the same thing, but right now I'm just enjoying the moment. But as of right now, I really like the Troy Aikman hire. I think it's the right thing to do, to bring someone from the outside who's current with what other teams are doing. I think it's a great hire. So as a fan, please, we need to stop. We need to stop the bashing thing. We can disagree, but come on, would you have to start taking shots at everybody just because we disagree? Just defend your point. You got to start basically. I've seen comments and tweets of bashing saying that if you are with Aikman, you're basically a moron. I'm like, come on, stop it.
Yeah,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
It is. All of a sudden, those who are for Aikman are blind ass fans. I mean, what a crappy term.
Yeah.
Anyway,
don't get me started about people calling someone black ass fans, because I have a lot of things to say. So Evan knows, so don't get me the rabbit hole.
I'm just playing. I'm just messing. Anyway, interesting note was that I think is more interesting than Aikman that I actually liked was that in regards of this, the news that came out was Miami is looking for a general manager looking for somebody with a significant scouting background. When you guys hear that, is there, how do you guys feel about that? Do you want a guy who's an analytical type of guy? And, analytical? I think that's what it is.
Yes.
Do you prefer that? Do you prefer a cap specialist? Because I think what Miami's plan is get a guy who's the general manager who's significant scouting ability. And I think that Brandon Shore, who's involved in this, is going to be your cap specialist. So in regards of GM as significant scouting background, Evan, I'll start with you on this one. What are your feelings on that? And is there any name that jumps out to you?
So I obviously want someone who's a talent evaluator.
Yeah.
Who can go to the Senior Bowl, go to the combines and draft, and who has experience drafting players and evaluating and scouting them. My only concern is I don't like where the structure might end up. Like, will it be where the general manager has the same level of power as Brandon Shore, and they're both going into Tom Garfinkel? I don't like that. So I want the general manager in the end to have the final say on what happens with who's put on the field. I don't want the coach to do it unless they hire a coach who's working in tandem. But I want someone who's a scouting talent evaluator who can know how to draft and develop players. Brandon Shore has more of an HR background, administrative background. Yes, he can lead it as an HR person, but I don't want him having says in player personnel. And I want the ability for the guy who's general manager to bring in his own player personnel people, to bring in his assistant general manager. She should have anything that is player-related performance drafting, letting them be on this football team should be in the hands of that guy, not on Garfinkel, not on Ross, not on Shore. In terms of guys, the only restriction I have is on the general manager search is the guy can't be from the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. That's the only restriction I have. You cannot be from the San Francisco 49ers.
Why?
Because that means that McDaniel has a say in who the general manager might be. I don't care how talented he is. I don't like that because there's still going to be an association there that I don't like. There's John Eric Sullivan, who's big talk about. There's Alex Halaby from the Eagles. Those are guys who I'm interested in. I'm open to any person who has developed a winning culture. So whether it's Andy Wendell in Pittsburgh, anyone who's had a team where players have been developed in all throughout the first round. So I actually like players and teams of general managers who have picked later in the rounds, not early. I like teams like Green Bay, Kansas City at the time, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, teams that have had success in the last 4 or 5 years. Like Alonzo Highsmith, because of this association, I'm okay with that. Like, I want someone who's had success on a team on the field in the last couple of years. I don't want an up and coming team that is still trying to figure things out. But it has to have a scouting background. They have to have been director of player personnel, have been a scout, someone who has been and understands how to draft, not just in the first round, gimmies, who knows how to find the players in the middle rounds, and doesn't have an associate. Also, has no no relationship with the head coach of this current franchise at this ever. He has never been associated on the same team at the same time as Mike McDaniel. That is my number one creed. Having worked with Mike McDaniel before, yes, I'm sorry we cannot interview today. That is my number one requirement. Ed Dodd or no one. Ed Dodd is not bad either.
Sammy, same.
I get the analytics thing, I get the scouting thing, but for me, I have a different perspective. Not going to be popular, but it's my perspective nonetheless. The Dolphins had talent in 2023. The Dolphins had talent. They had a lot of talent. They had 5 or 6 of the top 100 players in the NFL. So they had talent before. The problem is the construction of the team. You can have the ability to scout talent, but that's what your scouts are there for. That's why your scouts, they're going to rehab the whole scouting talent, scouting department. So you have to trust your scouts. But it's the construction of the team. You can have a lot of talent, but if the team is not balanced for the offense, for the defense, for the team, the thing we're building for the coach, it's not going to work. That's why the Dolphins players go to other places and they start suddenly playing great. They were good players, but they didn't fit here. They didn't fit what they were doing here. And we have bring players with other teams that are being great, and they come to Miami and they pull the bed. So for me, scouting talent is great, but you need to have someone who basically knows how to build the team. That's what someone mentioned. Bill Polian. Bill Polian was a guy who knew how to build a team. He knew what a team needed to be successful. On 90s NFL and late 2000s NFL, not in today's game. Today's game is completely different. Bill Parcells, for all the getting the groceries and stuff, he went to Miami and, he found Sperano, who was an okay coach. He wasn't a great coach. And he tried to build a team that, was competitive, that made the playoffs. But other than that, he picked the players, he did the team, but he fell short. So you need someone who basically knows how to win a winning. Forget the culture. The culture comes when if you try to win every single day, if you are diligent, if you're on time, and if you start winning, you're going to have a great culture. Look at the Heat. Now, right now, they're not winning, but they have the same culture. So it happens. So you need someone who knows how to build a team. What does it take? I see people will always take, when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. I said so many times with the song. The Dolphins have started to finally start thinking about building a team that can win the AFC East first. The East first. We play in New England, we play in Buffalo, we play in New York. And we basically in the AFC, there are basically no domes other than Indianapolis and maybe one another that I don't remember right now. Las Vegas, okay. But right now,
Houston.
Yes, but when you think about it, the draws are we're not playing there. So when times comes, we're going up north. We're going to the cold. So we need to find a team that basically knows how to win the AFC East, and that knows how to run the ball, that has a strong quarterback for the wind, for the rain, a mobile quarterback that can basically improvise when everything goes to crap, the cold weather, those kinds of things. So for me, it's great that we started thinking about getting someone with analytics and a scout. Is great. Of course, he has to have knowledge. If he doesn't have those, he should not be a candidate. But for me, it's more important someone who knows what it takes to build a team that can win.
Oh, so Bobby, that's exactly it. So we can only hire general managers who have been involved in franchises where it's freezing cold. So Philly, it's freezing cold. Green Bay, it's freezing cold. So we cannot go after anyone where the weather does not go below zero at any point in the year.
How is it windy? Is it windy and kind of cold and rainy like San Francisco? No, not like that.
Yeah, no,
Mike, not San Francisco.
Yeah, no. So for me, I agree with you, Sammy. Someone has to be able to construct a team, but it also has to be someone who that has to have the final say. Like if this is a general manager you're hiring to be a GM by committee with Tom Garfinkel, Brandon Shore, Stephen Ross, and it's going to be like the whole Chris, that I have a problem with. The person when he comes into the room, he says, "What are my say on players? Do I get to build my own staff? Do I have to get okay on this? Except for capology with Brandon Shore. Yes, you need to come to me. Yes, then nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter who you hire."
Bobby, if I may, I know I speak a lot, but I don't want to.
No.
If we be someone, basically, it's a plus. Who doesn't have financial, we basically have Stephen Roswell all over again. And with Brandon Shore, Brandon Shore moves the money. He's the VP of finances or whatever. But that's what I always said, that we need a VP of football operations. And Brandon Shore is not a VP of football operations. He moves the money. He moves the money. He's going to be above the GM. We're screwed. Again, we're screwed. We basically have Chris Greer with less power. We basically with less power, because I want a GM that knows what he's doing, that knows the team is going to build, that gets the coach for that team. Not that I have my McDaniel and now I have to get the kind of player that fit my McDaniel. No, you get the coach for the things you know how to build, that you know you can build, and that run the things you wanted to run. And your final say is yours. Of course, if you get a Harbaugh or Tomlin, you might amend that. But for me, if Brandon Shore is on top of everybody, we're screwed. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
You don't need head of HR on top of
I just want to say very quick to Russ Morgan, host of On Deck, because me and him are both trying to also follow the Marlins. Supposedly there's a Marlins-Yankees trade. Marlins are excuse me, Edward Cabrera to the Yankees.
Again? Man, the Marlins all they do is feed the Yankees. Where are you going to stop?
So supposedly there was a report that Spencer Jones from the Yankees could be going to the Marlins. Eric Hobbs of Barstool saying he's hearing Dylan Lewis and Ben Ben Hess would be going to Miami and Edward Cabrera trade. So to Russ Morgan, Dylan Lewis, and Ben Hess possibly is included in that. So do me a favor, check into that, and then let me know your thoughts on that. Host of On Deck, Russ Morgan, also a resident Jets fan. So to that, but everything else is okay. So some names that pop in my head as when I saw that, because yes, a popular name for some Dolphin fans, especially our friend Jason Sarney, co-host of the Phins Faithful Pod, is Alec Halaby of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Strong scouting background. When I saw that eliminates Halaby. Analyst, hasn't had a lot of experience. Ray Agnew is a guy I like.
Me too.
That did not do much scouting. Former player, but he's another one who I think scratches on the list. Ed Dodds, who we know Josh Wingate is a fan of, who's brought up multiple times. Ed Dodds does have a strong scouting background. Assistant general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. That's a name to look at. John Eric Sullivan from the Packers is another one. He's the VP of player personnel there. Former player who has some scouting background, Chad Alexander, Chargers assistant GM. Matt Berry, Seahawks VP of player acquisition, another guy with background, scouting background. A name that's something I think that we should be able to watch for. Another guy who's a young guy, Sammy's brought up, not looking at older guys, but it's a young guy, but also someone with a strong scouting background who's we've seen an organization that was basically was one of the laughing stocks to up high, who's really took a big leap, especially after hiring their coach. Strong scouting back former player, and that people I think are ignoring is Ian Cunningham from the Bears, the assistant GM of the Bears. That's a guy I think people should keep their eye on. So like when I look at Ed Dodds, Ian Cunningham, Matt Berry, Sullivan, those are guys that I think could be big names in Miami if that's what they are looking for. And I think fans should start looking into. Dodd was also part of the rise of the Seahawks from 07 to 14. There you go. That's okay. It's called growing pains. Okay. Not everybody's going to hit off right away, Russ. You know what I'm saying? So
Daniel and I agree on something for the first time ever.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Daniel, kumbaya, you and me are on the same page today.
Sullivan, that's a name to look at, man. I'm telling you, those are guys with strong scouting backgrounds. And again, look even though the Colts have fallen off a little bit, look at what they've been able to do, the maneuvers they've been making. You look at Ian Cunningham, you see what the Bears have done, where they started, where they are right now. And especially and then you look at the Packers, they're consistent, what they've drafted, the trades they've made. These are guys that are part of, and Matt Berry too, from the Seahawks. Another guy where the organization just continues. I mean, shout out to the Seahawks getting the number 1 seed. Sam Darnold, but not looking out to be a flash in the pan from the Vikings, who are probably smacking themselves. Go ahead.
Not to knock the Eagles, and it sounds a little petty about it, but if you want to really deep and you want to be petty about it,
you're going to be petty.
There's Howie Roseman and Chris Greer are actually friends, are actually done trades before. Howie Roseman fleeced us with Waddle, and on that trade because Greer, who knows. And the whole Vic Fangio thing, the whole Jalen Phillips thing, the whole connection with the Eagles, stay away from the Eagles. Honestly, like the Eagles have already taken away our candy. They've made a mess of us with the Waddle pickup. And then what we did there with the going back up in the draft and being conned there. Fangio basically holding on to Fangio for a year so that he can go screw us. Like for me,
I think we cut ourselves, Evan.
Of course. I'm just saying, let's be petty a little bit and not go after the Eagles. Enough with the Eagles. Enough with the Eagles. Honestly,
also,
John Edward Sullivan went under developed very, very well under the group in Green Bay. And Green Bay, who does things very, very strategically, like Bobby.
That's a guy.
Bobby, think about the team with player personnel. They basically have had franchise quarterbacks. One, since Marino retired. They have had franchise quarterback after franchise quarterback after franchise quarterback who they sit and develop for years. That's a team that develops their players and drafts them for future. They don't throw them there and just go, you're on the field, no red shirt, go. They develop their teams, and these are smart people. So for me, I'm open to anyone who's had success. But who knows? If tomorrow, for example, a lot of things can change. Let's say tomorrow we find out that let's say they get embarrassed Baltimore. Hopefully it works out. What are you laughing about?
I'm,
Which
so-
part?
I'm sorry. That was me.
What's so
I-
funny?
my bad.
I'm listening
should-
to you. I see
What I
Bobby.
What I
Is
do?
I-
that you?
I'm checking in on the games.
Okay.
I'll
No,
get a
I love-
second.
You're just thinking. Let's say for
Sorry.
right now, for example, let's say tomorrow, because what's his name has big eyes, right? Ross will never get away from having the big eyes, right? So let's say the Steelers get
Yes.
whooped tonight by the Ravens, and you find out tomorrow that you could trade for Mike Tomlin, and you can bring Andy Wendell with him. That's something that could be considered. You're bringing Mike Tomlin, who knows what he's doing, and he handpicks his GM or somebody who works in Pittsburgh. So you don't know. There's so
Yeah,
many
that's what I'm
opportunities
saying.
that can happen because that could change the whole narrative. If a big name gets knocked, Ross is going to bring it up. Ross, 100%. If he sees a Harbaugh or he sees a Tomlin
Yes.
or he sees a
I think Harbaugh more than anybody.
they're going to jump.
Yeah.
They're going to jump.
The worst thing that could happen is they say tomorrow Mike McDaniel is coming back. They have to wait and see. We're evaluating the situation. We're ready for the GM thing. And then
Hold on. I know what Evan wants to do. Just wait a minute, Evan. Slow it down. Hold on. I get what you want to do. I just want to say very quick.
Say
Very
Mike McDaniel?
Wait, now that you've mentioned McDaniel, so just
Daniel's
very
not
quick.
going to like me anymore.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Drink!
I will say too, there's other avenues. We're going to get into it a little bit, and then we'll get into go around the league, and that's what I'm reacting to. I should say shout out to Phins TV, Phins Sammy there. They got the Phins TV Pick'em League, which again I'm always looking and watching and maneuvering. You know, I felt really good yesterday. I picked Tampa, they won. I picked Seattle, they won.
You had a head start.
I got
right
a head
from the
start,
top,
2
man.
games ahead.
Leading 2
I
games
want a
ahead.
pinky
Woo!
You want the pick? What are you
I
doing?
want the
Evan?
pinky
That
ring.
does not look good.
When everyone thought I was crazy, when Daniel Jones wasn't injured, that the Indianapolis Colts will lose out. No one had that on their bingo card.
Anyway, get back to what we
I
were
want
saying.
the pinky ring instead.
Cincinnati right now losing 12-17 to Cleveland. I have Cincinnati.
17-12. Get it right the first time.
What did I say?
It's 12-17.
Because I'm looking at Cincinnati and who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? Just sit
You
there.
don't say the loser
Can you mute your
first, you say
mic?
the
Just
winner
stop talking
first.
for a minute. Ain't nobody. We know you're going to talk a lot when we talk McDaniel. Just wait a minute. Take a breath. Get some air.
Say the magic word.
Oh, I got a magic word. Minnesota over Green Bay, 13-0, which is good. I picked Minnesota to win that one. 24-10. Giants over Cowboys. Stupid Cowboys. I mean, what the hell, dude? Really? Gosh. Sorry, Josh. Jacksonville over Tennessee, 31-7. Good. Atlanta over New Orleans, 10-7. Good. Third quarter, 24-23. Colts up by 1 point. Haha, Evan. So just that's what I'm keeping an eye on. So anyway, moving on. So as we get into the GM reports in regards to the head coaching report, a lot of conflicting reports. Every day it's something new. You know, oh, he's safe. Ross likes him. The other report, not so safe. Other reports, 50-50. Today, if they were to make a call today, he would be safe, but don't hold your breath on tomorrow. A lot of noise. What do I take from this on McDaniel's job status? Absolutely nothing. I don't believe any decision has been made on Mike McDaniel, except that it will not happen today. No matter what happens today, he will not. If they get blown out, it's not going to cost him his job because hardly anybody's playing right now. The decision was already made in regards of we're going to wait and let this play out. The failure of this season, Ross says, I like McDaniel. I have a good relationship with him. I would like to see him back. I believe it is. Let's see what happens with the next general manager. Let's see what that thought process is in a few weeks. How would he feel about McDaniel coming back and going from there? I don't know if a specific coach gets fired. Does Ross say, fire McDaniel and let's go interview that coach? Let's throw all the money at him. Because I think he's done that before and it didn't work. I will say that if a new general manager, if they were to bring back Mike McDaniel, do I think it's the end of the world? No, I do not. For two reasons. First off, it's a wait and see. Let's see how a new general manager and Mike McDaniel with a new guys or guy player personnel, whatever. Let's see how that might work out. Let's see McDaniel with his fire on his seat, on his ass and a chip on his shoulder going into next season, going, I'm here to prove that I could win without Tua Tagovailoa. Let me prove that without Chris Greer breathing down my neck that I could win. Okay, that's the first pro to that. That's the first pro that McDaniel comes back because he's gonna be. We know that all the eyes are gonna be on him. Right? Fair enough. The second reason is it wouldn't be the end of the world because you still have a new general manager. You still have new guys in player personnel and scouting. If McDaniel, they go in the next season and the Dolphins start off like they did this year, the new GM's going to have full ability to tell Ross, hey, man, I think I'm going to make a move. And then you get rid of McDaniel. Because honestly, as I look around the league, as much as I know, like I would prefer to move on from, like at the end of the day, move on from McDaniel, just start fresh. Yes, that's my preference. But if you look around the league, I'm sure I could find somebody. But right now, there's no one that I'm really going like, oh, I want to bang the table for him. John Harbaugh is one. John Harbaugh I like. 100%. He's done it with different quarterbacks. He started as a special teams coach, a head coach, and he's won. Mike Tomlin is somebody that I like a lot. But I don't know how I'd feel about him being a head coach with a team like the Miami Dolphins. So I wouldn't mind if it wouldn't be the end of the world if they came out tomorrow and said McDaniel's coming back with a new GM and all this, blah, 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 and we start with a whole new team and we're building up. Because again, he could have a chip on his shoulder and, hey, holy crap, man, wow, maybe he needed a new quarterback. Maybe he needed a new GM. Or you start off, they suck, and you fire them. And then now you make the right move because it's not going to be, oh, we're just rich-washing again. No, because this new general manager is now getting his coach. So I will say that because I don't think any decision has been made. I would not hate tomorrow waking up for Black Monday before On the Clock, the first show of On the Clock, the Dolphins draft show here on FTSN, with Mike McDaniel has been relieved of his duties. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't be, I would be ecstatic. I'd be, okay, great. We're starting fresh. For that reason alone, we're starting fresh, new coach, new GM, fresh minds. That's why I like the Aikman thing. It's a fresh mind in that decision hiring process. But if they came out and said McDaniel's coming back for at least another year with a new GM, again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I'm still excited. We got a new general manager coming in. We got new player personnel guys coming in. And what sucks is even though he will be interviewed with Troy Aikman, you knew at that point they had no intention of really giving Champ Kelly a chance, So we'll see how that plays out. But that's a Champ Kelly. But Evan, your thoughts?
I'm convinced. I was happy when they fired Greer. That was the right decision to make, even though I've been very hard on Mike McDaniel. Then when we saw the performance of the guy over there, number one, most of us have his jersey. When he started to fail and couldn't throw, and I think I started seeing that in the Baltimore game. I think we started seeing it early on in the season as well. I thought and I even admitted a couple weeks ago, and I think your mouth dropped a little bit, Bobby, and Sammy, that I said I'd rather have Tua gone than Mike McDaniel. So Mike McDaniel is in third place in terms of the problems with the team, in terms of the three problems of the three-headed monster for me. If Mike McDaniel would have been on the coaching cycle now, I consider him a candidate. The problem for me is more with Mike McDaniel is the fact that the team has regressed year over year. Whether we have talent or not, they have regressed. His inability to adapt in the third quarter. And the fact that he doesn't look like he's improved as a head coach. There's no sense for me that he's actually gotten better as a head coach as the years have progressed. He has stagnated in my mind. So this is tongue-in-cheek. I wrote this before the show, and then I will let Sammy go. For me, Mike McDaniel will be back. Sammy was right all along. One of my greatest accomplishments, I will tell you this right now, Bobby. In 2024, I had the honor to spend time with you. In 2025, I had the honor of spending time with Sammy. In 2026, my goal is to spend time with both of you. In honor of my fellow token tribesman, Stephen Ross, he sent me this morning. I want to thank the players and coaches for their hard work through the 2025 season. As for the fans, your lack of support for the Miami Dolphins, especially for my adopted son, Mike McDaniel, is absolutely shameful. As the owner of this team, I hold zero accountability for our successes and failures. We did not meet your expectations this season, but who cares? Because I made a huge profit at your expense, and that's all that matters to me. As we look forward to 2026 and our final game against the New England Patriots, I want to share the fantastic news that we will retain Mike McDaniel with my full support. His loyalty to Tua throughout most of the season, his ability to adjust in the second half, his success at winning challenges, and his outstanding public speaking skills are assets to the Dolphins, and I believe in the value of stability. We will begin the search for a new general manager on Monday, along with the wonderful committee I have formed, with the requirement that they work directly with Mike McDaniel. I will admit that I lied to the fan base that the status quo was not acceptable. Being worse this season was, in fact, more acceptable, and also to be loyal to my son, Mike. We will take a hard look at where we can get worse on the football field and make the necessary changes to achieve the ultimate goal, me making an even greater profit. At the same time, your continued support for a record-breaking Dolphins season as we hope to set another record, 26 straight years without a playoff win. Sammy, floor is yours.
Was that Ross sent you that? So yeah, well, it's kind of funny because he sent me somebody to send you, so you had to give me the rest of Canada. He said he didn't want to pay the tariff, so he sent me the shirt. He said, please deliver to Evan.
I have that T-shirt. I have.
So,
I'm gonna wear that on the post-game show. I have the
so,
T-shirt.
I'm gonna
I have
send
the
it to you.
T-shirt.
Be Mr. Ross, so I'm gonna send that to you.
But speaking of which,
you.
I said Joe Brady. I love Joe Brady.
Now, seriously, thank you for the kind words. I always say I love Evan Fistanza, but I love Evan. So yeah, I love you guys. So honest, I said Mike McDaniel will come back when everybody said he will fire, and I expected me to complete the whole season. Right now, I just saw a post from 205 Sports Bay for Ashley. They said tomorrow Mike McDaniel play will be on blank, and I said on hold because again, I'm not sure. So Ross is 100% committed. I remember when I was the day we were sitting the day Brian Flores was fired. And I remember having a conversation with Eddie Chappell that said he's going to get fired. And he said, no, there's no way they're going to fire him. I don't think what I'm hearing is Ross doesn't like him. I think he's gone. And then he was fired and everybody was surprised. So now I'm telling you, I think my banana comes next year. But if there's a way that, Eggman and the committee find someone as a GM and the GM says, okay, I'll take the job, but I want to take my own guy. And then they have to double think about it. That might be something that gets him out, or the big threes out there, the Tomlins, the Harbaughs are there, and Stephen Ross prefers that. But right now, I do believe Mike McDaniel will come back if you ask me. So, I always say he will be back, and I even said probably next year too. Right now, I'm not completely sure, but if you ask me, I think he's gonna come back.
And by the way, guys, if they let go of Mike McDaniel. And I believe he would actually be involved in getting. I don't think he'd wait long to get a job. And I think Weaver might actually go too. The Dolphins can get quite a few compensatory picks next season in the upcoming draft. Right? But it would be only in the next year.
Yeah, no.
This year or next year?
If he stays, he gets 1 and 1. He will get one this year.
If both leave and both get jobs, do we get compensatory picks in 26 or 27 for both?
We mean both.
Both are minorities. So they both
Weaver. Who you mean both?
If Weaver got a head coaching job.
Weaver, yes.
And then if McDaniel got a job,
right?
Well,
no, not McDaniel.
Either gets fired or traded, so he will get by a trade.
If McDaniel gets fired and he's a minority coach, you don't get pick.
If he gets fired, gets fired, he's fired because he's not.
It's only if they sign. If for the coordinator, it's different because you're hiring him off your squad, so that's taking something away. With a coach, you're just firing him. You're not going to get rewarded for firing a guy.
Yeah.
You
can trade him
even if he gets the job same cycle. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Josh Wingate says, in regards of like who can you bring in if you were to let go of McDaniel, Joe Brady might be the best available.
I like
right
Joe
now.
Brady a lot.
If they get fired, Pete Carroll, Kevin Stefanski would require an interview. I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say this, and I'm just because we did do a show about possible coaches if that were to happen, and we would do it again and get into deeper with it.
That would be fun now.
It would be absolutely fun now. If it happens, right?
Yeah.
But I will say again, she just said no, but I'm going to say yes. I love Pete Carroll. I absolutely love Pete Carroll. I would not be against interviewing Pete Carroll. What do you do with the Raiders? Look, it's the Raiders, bro. But Pete Carroll, I enjoy Pete Carroll. But there's a lot of names out there for the Miami Dolphins that could possibly interview. But they're, like I said,
Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
True, absolutely.
So he's gonna go somewhere else. He's gonna be a very good coach right now. But Cleveland is like the Jets, you have to overcome a lot to win.
If someone told you tomorrow, I will trade you straight up, I'll trade you Mike McDaniel for Kevin Stefanski, people would do the flip in a heartbeat in Miami.
So, yeah. So let's do real quick. Let's because there's the game at hand. Even though we know it's the end of the season, we know it don't matter what happens. I'm excited for this game. You know why? Because we get to see guys we don't normally see. Again, it's a glorified preseason, and it's going to be big for Quinn Ewers, even though
Jalen Wright and Greg Dulcich.
Because this is against the Patriots who are fighting for the number 1 seed. They won the division, which is crazy. But what can you do? Look, get inactives: Tua Tagovailoa, Cam Miller, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Chop Robinson, Minka Fitzpatrick, Austin Jackson, all out for today's game. So just quickly, Sammy, your reaction to the inactives.
Basically, we talked before that in making inactive Achane and Waddle is a key, because if they get hurt today in the middle of the game, they say it's a serious injury, you basically lose him for the next season. So it's stupid just to make him play. Chad Robinson, I think it's something I heard somewhere that someone had a concussion after Tua with Mike McDaniel. Basically, doesn't play the week after.
No,
none of them have.
Never allowed one player to ever play.
It will be the first time that a player that had a concussion. Other teams done it, but all teams basically run them back, and then the league doesn't do anything. But the Dolphins, obviously, they're always watching. But during Mike McDaniel's after Tua, no player that had a concussion played the week after, so that's not surprising. Dulcich will have to shine up. I don't know, the wide receiver core. That's an Achilles heel for the Dolphins. I don't know right now. Quinn Ewers might have to run a lot today, because that receiving core today is just going to be awful.
Evan,
this reminds me of 2019. You have a young quarterback. You have a young quarterback. You have Ollie Gordon, who's going to get a lot of playing time today. Jalen Wright has played well when Devon Achane's not been there. You'll see some Malik Washington, Taj Washington. You'll see Cedric Wilson. You'll see Nick Westbrook-Akine. You're just going to see people throwing. In the end, it's about the defense. The goal today is for the defense to hold, because the defense knows they're going to be clock watching. They're right now, I guarantee you, there is a television on right now. They have 13 points right now for the Atlanta Falcons. Okay? The Atlanta Falcons have 13 points. If they have 13 points, the Miami Dolphins can only allow 10. Right? So in order for him to get $5.something million, Bradley Chubb, the defense is going to have
how much?
$5.15 million. Right now we're 21st in scoring defense. The Falcons are 20.
Oh,
He's hit all the incentives except one. If we finish as the top 20 scoring defense, which means the Falcons have to score 3 less points. We have to allow 3 less points than the Falcons do today. Bradley Chubb gets over $5 million in bonus.
How does that affect the cap next year? The bonus affects the cap.
Doesn't affect the bonus at all. This is why he took a pay cut this year and why we had a lower cap hit. The bonus never affects the cap. This bonus, no.
Doing a whole lot of bonuses.
It's insane.
Bradley Chubb deserves the bonus, man. He's been one of our most consistent players on
Ross
defense.
might give it to him anyways. Who knows? But
last week he was playing hard.
But I will tell you this: Chop Robinson has been a disappointment for me this year. If I see this year. Like next year, if I'm at the draft and I'm top 10, I don't care. People are worried about Mendoza. If I see Mesidor or I see Bain sitting there and go get him.
Ruben Bain in a heartbeat. But there's some other.
I agree. Mesidor.
I know.
By the way, and if I'm 11 and I see David Bailey hasn't been picked yet, I might trade back and go get David Bailey. I saw that guy, as bad as Texas Tech was. That David Bailey guy, oh my God, that guy is nasty.
Let me tell you something. First
I'm loving the draft. I'm doing a lot of it, reading a lot about it. I love it.
Then talk to George, because he's already on draft mode.
Well, we've been on draft mode here. We've been watching film, and we have scouting reports up the wazoo and rankings, and Josh Wingate's been going to work and putting us to work, which is awesome. But yeah, we start our draft stuff tomorrow, our draft show tomorrow, which I'm excited about. But
the inactives for me, this is a show off to see if Quinn Ewers is really, if he struggles today, I don't think it changes much. I think this really is a good opportunity for Ollie Gordon to get a last look. Jalen Wright could be playing for something. Greg Dulcich could be one of our top tight ends next year. On the offensive side of the ball, you see Larry Borum. Oh yeah, by the way, because he's actually here, I have one requirement from the draft show this year.
Stop it.
One requirement.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
You're about to say.
No, I don't trust anything you're about to say.
Actually, due to its internet issues last year.
And
its constant movement, which gave me, I actually got vertigo from it.
Oh gosh.
There is a requirement that Mike Vogel sit upright in a chair with headphones and a microphone. There is no sitting on recliners, no lying down, no. I need straight up, upright, focused.
I'm going to say
from Mike Vogel.
First of all, I love Coach. Then I just say too, Coach. We talk about hard at work. Coach has been putting in the work for FTSN and on the clock scouting. I mean, way into before the season. I mean, and so is Josh, obviously. But Coach, man, I'm very excited to see his takes for the for FTSN
I will give myself
this year.
Kudos. There was one player I kept on knocking on the wall for you guys. I said he was going to be a late round pick. I wish they would have took him. Buffalo was very happy to have him. Jackson Hawes. Jackson Hawes on this team this year would have made.
That was a guy that you for sure were bringing. I remember you kept telling me, Bobby, go watch Jackson Hawes.
How was he this year for Buffalo?
It's good.
6th round pick.
Anyway,
the inactives overall, nothing really surprises me.
We're still going.
I just feel bad about. I'm disappointed in Jalen Waddle. Like I will tell you this, my two biggest disappointments this season, right now on this team, are Tua.
Yeah,
Jalen Waddle and Chop Robinson. Those are my 3 biggest disappointments on this team.
You said 2, but you added 1.
I meant to say 3.
I know.
That's muted. That's why
I see how it feels. You see how it feels when somebody just egging a little word thing you say.
Sorry, because 2 American is 3 Canadian.
But on the Water thing, Bobby caught that from the beginning because the first show of the season, Bobby said that he did expect Water to have a great season. So Bobby was right on the money with that.
Yeah. Ding, ding. But again, I am disappointed with Waddle. I mean, look, I know the kid has heart. I know he tries to play, but the field play has dropped off. Can't stay healthy. It's just a consistent thing. And that's why, again, I'm going to say this because Evan brought it up and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time here on FTSN with On the Clock. No position should be off. Kicker, punter, but no position should be overlooked at number 11 or at any pick with Miami. We don't need that player. We don't need this. No, any position.
If you remember, how many times did I say, yes, he was taken early, and what I don't think they're in a playoffs fighting for a playoff spot today if he wasn't there. How many times did I say the word Tate McMillan? How many times did I say if Tate McMillan's sitting at our draft, go draft Tate McMillan? If you are the Carolina Panthers, you watched them yesterday. You don't have Tate McMillan on your team. You're not a playoff team if you don't have Tate McMillan.
Yeah. So anyway, but there you go. There'll be more draft talk tomorrow and throughout FTSN. Evan, we'd maybe doing some side shows other than On the Clock. Evan, we've been talking about that. So I know Steve with Real Talk, Phins Talk, Aging and Strong will be coming back to FTSN Extra 2 for those who want to, get worked out, get, healthy, in shape, healthy living. Go check out Steve Malloy on FTSN Extra this offseason for Aging and Strong. Great stuff during the season. Great interviews with boxing champions, former boxing champions, experts in exercising and fitness. A lot of great stuff. So I'm really excited for Steve to get back into that. I hope he doesn't mind that I brought that up, but I know, I don't think he does. But anyway, he's like, damn it, Bobby. Now I'm committed.
Well, but if he says something, you can always cancel him. It's okay.
No, he doesn't. Anyway, so on to the thing. So for today's game, we Dolphins. I think they play at 4:30, which is now
4:25.
Okay, thank you. So about an hour away, almost an hour away. So let's go ahead and get our game predictions out of the way. Or actually, let's do keys.
Why don't we do the 4:25 game, even though the games are happening? Why don't we just do it? We didn't do around the league, even though it's a late start. Why don't we just predict what we have around the league?
All right, go ahead. Jets versus Buffalo.
I think the Jets will break a record today
Mhm.
as the first team ever in the NFL era, since it basically started in the 60s, to not have one defensive interception in a season. That's insane. They're fighting for a higher playoff spot, Buffalo, because this is what's crazy about the AFC. No seeding is from 1 to 7. Only 4 is going to be defined. Everything else is up in the air. They're playing for something. Buffalo is going to destroy the Jets. And by the way, they already announced Justin Fields is not expected to be back with the Jets next season.
Okay. Sammy?
Bills win, Jets gets an interception because it will be a record, and your head coach is a former corner, so that's not.
And they announced he's back. People were surprised. They also already announced that Aaron Glenn will be back next season.
Yeah, that kind
There
of
you
thing. They announced it, or the speculation of
No, they say he'll be back. They're basically they have good reports. They haven't officially announced it.
Good for us.
By the way, Jack, do you know that? Remember Cam Little hit a 67-yarder today, and I hit a 52-yard chip shot. This kicker is something else. 67 yards.
So Buffalo, I got Buffalo as well. Detroit at Chicago, I got Chicago. Sammy, who do you got?
I have Chicago. What a disappointment for the Lions this season. I'm sorry. Last couple of years, being a Super Bowl contender, being so close. That only shows one thing. People love Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell too, but coordinators matter. You can be the best head coach, the greatest leader, the best hype man in the NFL. Run through a wall, blow the kneecaps, but you don't have a good play caller, offense and defense, you're screwed. So you have a lot of work to do next season.
There you go. Evan?
Hot take. The same way we talked about Mike McDaniel and Tua needed a separation. If you remember, Bobby, I said at the beginning of the year that those two needed a divorce, like badly. I think it's time that Jared Goff gets divorced from Dan Campbell. I don't think they work well together anymore. Losing 8 coordinators, obviously 8 staff members made a big difference, but I feel there's something there. Jared Goff, since he's gone there, has moved them along, but not far enough. Matthew Stafford has gotten further. That trade ended up being better for the Rams than it has been for the Lions overall. This has been a big disappointment when they were the number 1 seed last year. So for me, the Ben Johnson has put together a better team right now than the Lions are. Caleb Williams is making throws Jared cannot make. The Bears will win today, but I also just want to say in the offseason, I could see that the brass could see a way to trade away Jared Goff.
There you go.
Chargers. Thank you, Steve.
Chargers at Broncos, 11-5 Chargers versus the 13-3 Broncos. This game was tough to pick. This was a tough one to go, but I got the Broncos winning this one. Evan, who do you got?
No Justin Herbert, so it should be very easy. I actually don't think it matters what the Patriots do today. It's sort of like that scoreboard watching where the Chiefs were playing the Broncos last year, and we knew the Dolphins didn't stand a chance. The Broncos will win.
Sammy?
This is the Chargers playoff bye week. They should seed everybody and just basically concentrate on the playoffs. So I had the Broncos.
Chiefs taking on the Raiders, 2-14 Raiders. Chiefs 6-10. I got the Chiefs. Sammy?
I should pick the Raiders because it will be so Raiders Chiefs basically win the last game of the season and lose the first overall pick, right? But I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs just because it's Travis Kelce's probably his last game of his career, and he'll have a good game.
Arizona Cardinals taking on the Rams. I got the Rams. Evan?
I got the Rams. They're still fighting for a playoff spot. If they win today, they can actually surpass the 49ers, and the 49ers can be, I believe, 6th. So that actually they have something to play for. And like I told you when they put him in, Jacoby Brissett will not win a football game this year. I got that one right too. It will happen again today.
The Cards are one of the teams that during this season have played to the level of position. So I don't expect it to be a cakewalk for anything, but for the Rams. But the Rams should win this game. Should win convincingly, and should find a way to get into the playoffs so to be strong. So I had the Rams winning.
Oh, poor Calais Campbell.
Commanders traveling to Philly to take on the 11-5 Eagles. I have the Eagles. Sammy?
Eagles on the way.
Evan?
Eagles are fighting for something also. Eagles.
Another one that's tough because both teams are so flip-flop. It's just ridiculous. But Baltimore taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baltimore's 8-8. Steelers are 9-7. I got Baltimore. Evan, who do you got?
This is not that difficult of a decision to make because in the end, Pittsburgh has been way more inconsistent than Baltimore. Baltimore has been without Lamar Jackson quite a bit. Derrick Henry is playing amazing football, and they went into Green Bay and put up 41 with Huntley. I don't see them having trouble beating the Steelers. I think it's an end of an era with Tomlin there. I think he's going to either walk away or ask to be traded. I think he's either going to go into the booth or someone will be trading for him tomorrow, very, very quickly. I think it's an end of an era there. The Ravens will make the playoffs and take the 4th seed.
Sammy?
I have the Ravens. And, I expect Lamar Jackson to be pretty motivated. I didn't think he was going to play this week. The fact that he's playing, I think that he's going to be playing motivated. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think the Ravens going to win. Could be Aaron Rodgers' last game of his career, so that should be interesting.
All right. So now, our Dolphin game predictions. Evan, how does it wrap up for Miami?
The Miami Dolphins will lose this football game. Not because they didn't try. It's just they don't have the firepower to keep up with Drake May. And Mike Vrabel does not lose to the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't matter what we try and do today. It's just going to be a tough sledding. But I don't think it will be a high-scoring game. I think the final score will be Patriots 17, Dolphins 13.
What was that score? I'm so sorry.
17-13 Patriots.
Oh, wow. Okay. Close.
And 17-13 Patriots. And Bradley Chubb will not meet his bonus.
All right. Sammy?
For me, the last game of the Dolphins season was last week. And last week, basically, the Dolphins play hard. They find a way to beat the Bucs. The Bucs, still pending to see if they're going to win the division or not. That's just crazy. But the Dolphins last week play hard. They play committed football. They play as a unit on offense, on defense. And, I like what I saw was very fortunate to be there. So for me, the last game of the season was last week. They said this week they start Waddle, they start A-Chain, Chubb Robinson. I agree with Evan. I don't think Bradley Chubb, who deserves the bonus, is gonna get it. It's gonna be a tough task. And I don't expect it to be close. I expect the Dolphins to lose the game big. I expect them to lose 38-17.
38-17.
I don't see this deep. I don't see Anthony Weaver. Honestly, this is an audition for Anthony Weaver in the coaching cycle. If he gives up 38 points, he's not getting a job next year.
It's gonna be in garbage time. They're gonna basically it's gonna be like a preseason game.
I think
the second half of the season, they're gonna push the bench in there. They're gonna throw the towel.
His defense is gonna claw. They
Giorgio,
are going to fight.
so the first half, they're gonna fight.
This defense fights in the first half, but when it pulls
well. Look who finally decided to show up and support this podcast in the comments.
At least he watches your show. He doesn't watch mine. He never watches mine.
George, Phins Faithful Podcast in the house. Hey, we've been talking draft stuff. FTSN. We got on the clock tomorrow with our first episode for our draft content. But if you love the draft, obviously subscribe to FTSN. But if you want continuous draft coverage with FTSN, also you want continuous Dolphins coverage, go check out Phins Faithful Podcast. George and Jason Sarney they killed it last year. They're going to kill it again this year. So make sure if you haven't already, go subscribe to the Phins Faithful Podcast and check out George, who will be live also immediately after the game with his post-game reactions as well. As
George, I'm a free agent during the offseason, so if you want me on Phins Faithful, you better.
All right. For me, I have it 34-13 New England.
That kind of same.
Winning. Yeah. We was last week, same type of thing. We were very close. But 34-13 New England winning, beating the Dolphins. Because again, it's really, even if we wanted to think that they could more, if they found a way to win, then that would be something. Whoa, wait a second. Damn, whoa, Quinn Ewers, Ollie Gordon. that'd be pretty cool. But let's be real, boys. Any hope of moving to 8? Is any hope of?
Just want to let everybody know, if you haven't been watching, the Myles Garrett has officially broken the all-time sack record today. Just a moment ago.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said. Yeah, that's not what he says. Yeah.
I have news, and you guys are ignoring me.
No, I heard Micah Parsons.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett broke the record. Yeah.
Evan.
Congrats.
Come here, Evan. Come on.
Nobody cares.
How does it feel?
I thought he was going to say, Evan, come here. Nobody gives a shit. Like, damn.
What happened to Sammy?
Oh, don't do that to Sammy. Don't do that.
That's not very nice.
But I will say,
Daniel Flowers. I know.
And I think George
Flowers that you all show.
Hold
I've
on.
been agreeing with everything Sammy has to say.
All right.
And he's giving me crap.
All right. Make sure you put that chapstick on for the butt kiss and just give me a moment here. I just want to say, Daniel says any hope of moving to 8 is slipping away. True. Right? But I'm going to tell you, I'm okay with that. If we end up with 11 or whatever, there's a lot of good players that are going to be available for Miami at 11, at 8, or whatever. And not to say, even though Miami needs as many picks as possible, not to say Miami with a new GM might be aggressive and try to move up into those positions if a guy falls in that range. So I'm okay with whatever pick we get. I really am at that point.
Actually, Cincinnati is losing, so that will
but by the way,
move us up.
Joe Burrow,
the Saints are losing, that will probably move us up. So not really. Right now, everything's falling the Dolphins' way right now. If you're really looking at it.
Yeah. Who cares? By the way, it doesn't matter where you pick; it's who you pick. And by the way, Joe Burrow turtled. He pulled a Brett Favre.
Did he?
Can you? So in 20 years. So how long will it take for Michael Strahan to visit Myles Garrett at a trading card show to yell at him?
Oh gosh, so stupid.
To yell at Joe Burrow.
Right. But anyway, everyone, we appreciate all those who are tuning in.
You guys are such. I can't believe you guys think that the Dolphins are gonna play hard today for Bradley Chubb. Shame on you. And for Mike McDaniel, come on, they're gonna fight.
We will be back again immediately after the game, so make sure you hit that notification bell. The episode is there, so join us. Win, lose, or draw. We'll have a full cast with us, which we are excited about. To tune in to FTSN's Phins Talk post-game show. That is Finn Sammy of Phins TV. That is Finn Stanza of FTSN. I'm Bobby Phins Talk. Dolphin fans, week 18, we're in for an eventful offseason. We're not done here. We never wrap it up here. We cover everything and their mother, but we also cover mainly the Miami Dolphins. So like and subscribe. Most importantly, as always, Fins up. See you.